6 men, 2 miles of chain, 10 tons of steel, and absolutely no way out. When the Elimination Chamber debuted first on November 17th, 2002, it didn't feel like a traditional wrestling match. It felt like a crime scene waiting to just happen. It felt something WWE wasn't supposed to air on television, a glitch in the system where the theater of sports and entertainment was replaced by the cold, hard reality of an industrial nightmare. Today, the Elimination Chamber is a February staple. It is a tick mark on the checklist of Road to WrestleMania. It is a premium live event because what we do. But earlier, it used to be a match which got you worried about the careers of the superstars performing inside it. It was a match that rendered actual consequence. But the harsh reality is, along the way somewhere, the Elimination Chamber lost its soul in pursuit of progress of the company. The original chamber structure wasn't designed by an architect. It felt like it was built by a sadist. It was circular, rusted-looking cage of girders and chains that looked like it belonged in a high-security prison, not Madison Square Garden. And the floor? That was the kicker. Before the padding, before the comfort, there was grating, cold, unyielding steel that sounded like a car crash every time a human body hit it. I remember watching those early Elimination Chamber matches as a kid, and the structure would literally shake, not because of some Kevin Dunn-induced seizure, but because of the sheer impact of taking a bump in the old Elimination Chamber structure. The backs got bloodied, the bruises got more purple, and sometimes the flesh would just stick to the Elimination Chamber structure itself. Commentary didn't have to sell the fact that it's the most dangerous structure active. Jim Ross didn't have to pretend anything because it looked like he was witnessing an on-screen murder, and in reality, he wasn't very far off.
Any thoughts come to mind?
For this? Yeah, we're all
Look at 2002. Rob Van Dam launches himself off the top of a pod, a 5-star frog splash into the unknown. He lands and his knee connects directly with Triple H's throat. In a normal ring, that's a bad day. Inside the chamber, it was life-threatening. Hunter finished that match with a crushed larynx, his airway closing, literally fighting for his life, while Shawn Michaels was celebrating his miracle comeback in brown tights that looked like they were borrowed from a UPS driver. That was the case. You didn't just win the chamber match, you survived it. When Goldberg speared Chris Jericho through the plexiglass pod at SummerSlam 2003, those weren't safe shards. That was jagged, sharp plastic that could have sliced Jericho open like a holiday ham. It was unpredictable, it was ugly, and it was perfect. So what exactly happened? WWE became a little too popular. The change in the infrastructure of the Elimination Chamber was by design. It was because WWE had transitioned from this small little clown show company to the global astronomical juggernaut that it is today. And we officially moved into the era of brand safety. The Elimination Chamber was redesigned and rebuilt, not reclaimed, Seth Rollins, in 2017. It got taller, it got sleeker, and it got safe. The square shape made it easier to transport. The smaller, less heavy structure was easier to place in modern day arenas. But the biggest betrayal was the goddamn floor. The steel structure was replaced by mattresses. The sound of the Elimination Chamber was gone. The thud replaced the clank. Wrestlers started taking crazier spots, jumping off of pods, doing flips, landing on the outside because they knew the floor had give. But in wrestling, the give is usually the breakaway of the immersiveness and illusion. When I see a man get suplexed on his back on a mattress, I don't gasp, I just wait for the next spot to happen. The Elimination Chamber used to be a match where the environment was the main heel, and now it just looks like a prop. The pods have LED panels, the lighting is crisp, bright, and purple. It looks straight out of the set of Beast Games. It doesn't look like a pay-per-view structure anymore. It looks like a premium prop. But here's the problem. The chamber used to look like something could go wrong. It used to look like a chain link could break. It used to look like the tomb would come crashing down on the wrestlers and the front row. Now, I don't wish for this to happen, but that optical illusion, that made it so much more immersive. The unpredictability is what made it look terrifying. Now it just looks a little too posh. It is choreographed down to the very second. We know when the pod door is gonna open. We know what the safe zones are. We know what hurts and what doesn't hurt. There is no blood. There is no raw skin. There's no feeling of that these men shouldn't really be in this structure anymore. It feels like a yearly obligation. Oh, it's February, time to put 6 men inside a cage just to find out who's gonna beat Cody Rhodes for the world title at WrestleMania. It lacks the consequence that defined it. When Edge stole Kofi Kingston's spot in 2009, it felt like a heist. It felt like he was entering a war zone to steal a crown. And look, I am not a ghoul. I'm not a sadist. I don't want to see Randy Orton get hurt inside that ring again. I don't want to see wrestlers have shredded backs and permanent scars just for my entertainment. I understand the fact that the wrestler's safety is the highest priority, way above any of our nostalgia factors. I get that. But here's the thing. There's a middle ground to this. You can make a ring safer without making it look like a playground. You can protect the wrestlers while protecting the illusion too. The Elimination Chamber didn't get worse because the wrestling got bad. The wrestling, in fact, is better than it's ever been before. The chamber got worse because it lost its teeth. It went from a devil's playground to a corporate approved activation, and that's the reality of the business today. Everything is cleaner, everything is smoother, and everything is better for the shareholders. But for the kid who remembers the sound of bones hitting chains, and for the man who wants to feel like watching professional wrestling is actually life and death stakes, the Elimination Chamber is a hollow echo. The Elimination Chamber didn't get worse. It got safer. And maybe that's the problem, because wrestling isn't supposed to feel safe. It is supposed to feel scary. It's supposed to feel like anything could go wrong and anything goes in this world. It's supposed to feel like monsters are real. But once you start putting those monsters inside of neon colored, vibrant playgrounds, they don't look like monsters anymore. This has been Heel Heat with Adeen, because some stories are meant to be told in the dark, and some cages, they are meant to be broken.